Calcium is one of the easiest minerals to overdo. You take it for bone density. Fair. But between your diet, your supplements, and your antacids, the total adds up faster than most people realize. Think of calcium like concrete. The right amount gives your body structure. Too much and you're not building anymore, you're calcifying. Hardening things that were never meant to be hard. And that's literally what happens. Excess calcium doesn't stay in your bones where it belongs. It moves into soft tissue, arteries, kidneys, heart valves, places that were never designed to harden. Now they are. Kidney stones are usually how it gets discovered. Painful enough to send you to a doctor, common enough that calcium rarely gets blamed immediately. Push levels higher and it stops being stones. It becomes actual kidney damage. Calcium also regulates how your heart muscle contracts. Too much circulating and that electrical rhythm gets disrupted. Irregular heartbeat. In serious cases, cardiac arrest. The early symptoms won't raise any flags. Constipation, fatigue, brain fog. Easy to blame on high stress or bad sleep. Meanwhile, calcium is quietly depositing in places it has no business being. The condition is called hypercalcemia. It doesn't announce itself. It just builds. Until it's noticed during a kidney scan or an abnormal EKG. Iron. Supplementation is always recommended for a reason. Fatigue, anemia, blood loss. You're depleted, so you need to refill. But unlike most things you put in your body, iron doesn't flush out. It builds up and it stays. Your body has no real way to excrete excess iron. What goes in gets stored in your liver, your heart, your pancreas. The system was never built to handle a surplus. Joint pain shows up first, then fatigue. Neither one points to iron, so neither one gets investigated. The buildup continues uninterrupted. Iron oxidizes tissue. It generates free radicals that break down cells the same way rust breaks down metal. Your liver absorbs the most damage. Long-term, that means inflammation, scarring, and eventually cirrhosis. The heart stores iron too. Deposits in cardiac muscle interfere with how it contracts. The result is heart failure or arrhythmia, not from a blockage, but from the muscle itself breaking down. Acute overdose moves fast. Vomiting, internal bleeding, organ failure within hours. Iron is one of the few minerals where supplementing without a confirmed deficiency does more harm than good. Most people skip that step. Magnesium is the supplement world's good guy. Sleep, stress, muscle recovery, it handles all of it quietly in the background, which is probably why nobody talks about what happens when you take too much. Your body is actually pretty good at managing magnesium from food. Eat a lot of pumpkin seeds and spinach, you're fine. The problem shows up with supplements, particularly high-dose versions marketed for relaxation or constipation relief. Too much magnesium pulls water into your intestines. The first sign is usually diarrhea, not subtle. Your body is essentially trying to flush the excess out the fastest way it knows how. If that doesn't work and levels keep climbing, the effects get more serious. Your blood pressure drops. Your muscles, including the ones you don't consciously control, start to lose tone. Reflexes slow down, you feel heavy, sluggish, and not entirely present. At high enough levels, magnesium acts like a sedative on your nervous system. Breathing slows. Heart rate drops. In severe cases, it can progress to cardiac arrest. The same mineral people take to wind down at night becomes the thing winding everything down. The population most at risk isn't the average supplement user. It's people with kidney disease. Healthy kidneys filter excess magnesium efficiently. Damaged ones don't. So what would be a manageable dose for most people becomes dangerous fast. Zinc. Zinc is like a bouncer at the door of your cells, controlling what gets in, keeping threats out. But when you flood the system with too much zinc, it starts turning away something your body actually needs, copper. That's the move that does the real damage. Zinc and copper compete for the same absorption pathway. Zinc wins every time. Take enough of it long enough and your copper levels drop, without you ever touching your copper intake. And low copper isn't minor. It causes anemia your iron supplements won't fix. It damages your nervous system in ways that look like multiple sclerosis, numbness, coordination problems, weakness that doesn't resolve. People have developed permanent neurological damage from long-term high-dose zinc alone. That's in the clinical literature. The short-term effects are less hidden. High doses hit your stomach fast, nausea within 30 minutes, followed by vomiting and cramps. Your body recognizes the excess immediately and tries to get rid of it. Zinc also blocks iron and other minerals from absorbing properly at high doses. So you're not just depleting copper, you're quietly undermining your entire mineral balance. Cold lozenges and immune supplements are the most common source of accidental overdose. They're designed for short-term use. Most people don't read that part. They just keep taking them because they haven't felt sick in a while. Potassium. Most people get enough of it through food alone. Bananas, potatoes, leafy greens. It's one of the few minerals where supplementing is rarely necessary, which makes overdose more common than you'd expect. The surprising part is how overdose usually happens. It's rarely from eating too much food. It's from supplements, salt substitutes, or medications that affect how your kidneys handle potassium. Your kidneys are normally excellent at clearing the excess. When they're not, either from disease or drug interaction, potassium accumulates fast. The condition is called hyperkalemia, and unlike some mineral overdoses that build slowly, potassium toxicity can move quickly. Your heart is the primary target. Potassium controls the electrical signals that tell your heart when to contract and when to relax. Too much disrupts that signaling. The rhythm becomes irregular. Beats come at the wrong time, or not at all. In severe hyperkalemia, the heart can flatline without much warning. Muscle weakness shows up early. Legs first, then spreading upward. Numbness and tingling follow. If potassium keeps rising, paralysis is possible. The muscles simply stop responding. What makes this particularly dangerous is that the early symptoms are easy to ignore. Weakness and fatigue don't exactly narrow it down. By the time someone connects the dots, levels can already be in a critical range. High-dose potassium supplements are prescription-controlled in many countries for exactly this reason. Copper. Copper deficiency gets a lot of attention. Copper toxicity almost never does. But chronic excess can build up in the liver over time, and by the time it becomes obvious, damage may already be underway. Your liver is the primary storage site for copper. Under normal circumstances, it regulates levels efficiently, absorbing what it needs, excreting the rest through bile. The problem starts when input consistently exceeds output. The liver holds onto the excess, and over time, that accumulation becomes toxic to the tissue itself. The most documented cause of chronic copper toxicity isn't supplements. It's contaminated drinking water running through old copper pipes. Slow, invisible, and easy to miss for years. Early symptoms are vague enough to ignore: nausea, abdominal pain, fatigue, the kind of things that get attributed to stress or diet before anyone thinks to check mineral levels. As toxicity progresses, liver inflammation sets in. Prolonged exposure can lead to cirrhosis, the same endpoint as long-term alcohol damage, just with a different cause. In severe cases, the liver releases stored copper into the bloodstream all at once, triggering hemolytic anemia, where red blood cells rupture faster than your body can replace them. Wilson's disease is the genetic version of this, a condition where copper accumulates uncontrollably. It's rare, but it illustrates exactly what happens when the liver loses its ability to keep copper in check. The brain and eyes are affected next. Selenium. With most minerals, you have room to overshoot. With selenium, the margin is razor thin. What your body needs and what starts poisoning it are almost the same number. The recommended daily amount sits around 55 micrograms. The upper tolerable limit is 400. That sounds like breathing room until you factor in that a single Brazil nut can contain anywhere from 70 to 90 micrograms depending on where it was grown. Eat a handful of those daily on top of a supplement and you're already in problematic territory. The condition is called selenosis, and it has a tell most people wouldn't connect to a mineral. Your breath starts smelling like garlic. Not because of what you ate, because your body is off-gassing selenium compounds it can't process. That's not a minor detail. That's your body signaling a problem through your respiratory system. Hair loss follows. Not gradual thinning, chunks. Nails become brittle and start separating from the nail bed. Skin rashes appear. Fatigue, irritability, and peripheral nerve damage that can present as numbness or loss of coordination. At acute toxic levels, selenium causes respiratory distress, kidney failure, and cardiac complications. There have been documented mass poisoning cases from improperly formulated supplements, where selenium content was miscalculated by a factor of hundreds. The thyroid depends on selenium to function, so does your antioxidant defense system. The mineral is essential. The window where it stays helpful is just much narrower than most people assume. Chromium. Chromium boomed in the 90s as a blood sugar and weight loss supplement and never left. Most people assume tiny doses mean zero risk. The logic makes sense on the surface. Chromium is measured in micrograms, feels negligible, but it accumulates in your liver and kidneys over time, and those organs aren't built to store it indefinitely. Chromium's job is helping your cells respond to insulin more efficiently. That's the hook that sold it. Blood sugar control, fat loss, body composition. The actual evidence behind those claims is thin. The evidence that chronic buildup causes organ damage is more solid. High-dose chromium use over extended periods has been directly linked to kidney failure in otherwise healthy people. Not a theoretical risk. Documented cases, real patients. The kidneys can't clear what keeps accumulating, so the tissue itself starts breaking down. Liver damage follows the same pattern. Elevated liver enzymes show up in blood work before symptoms do. By the time something feels wrong, the damage is already well underway. At high doses, chromium also appears to interfere with how cells replicate. Long-term, that's not a conversation anyone wants to be having. Stomach cramping, nausea, and cognitive fog show up with acute overdose. Irregular heart rhythm has been reported at very high doses. 8 minerals. All essential, all dangerous when you overshoot. Which one made you check your label? Drop it below, then check out the next video.